You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
As we move to the second enumerated poem with the "there are this many things, no, there's another," we come to this in verse 18 through 20. It says, "Three things are too wonderful for me, four I do not understand. The way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a serpent on a rock, the way of a ship on the high seas, and the way of a man with a virgin." And then verse 20 says, "This is the way of an adulteress. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong." Now here I believe that these images are pointing to things that are natural, beautiful, and good. In a way, there isn't much we can do but stand in wonder at an eagle if we see one flying, gliding, soaring in the sky. A serpent on a rock may freak us out a little because you don't like serpents, but it's pretty incredible how they move. And a ship on a high sea, something that weighs so much and doesn't sink, is a marvel. And then he says this, the way of a man with a virgin. This is pointing to the beauty of romantic love, intimacy, when properly approached, that it's nothing to trifle with, nothing to take for granted. And certainly you could see this as all about virginity, but I don't think it's inappropriate to say that this is really pointing to the beauty of God's approach of saying a man and a woman who commit their lives from early in life and do not spend their sexuality freely with others, that there's a beauty to it. And then we see this in part because of what verse 20 says about the adulteress who treats sex like an appetite. It's like she eats and wipes her mouth and says, what's the problem? And there's really a contrast here between seeing sex as an appetite to be met and trivialized almost, and seeing sex as something to be celebrated and marveled at when in its proper bounds. I don't think I have to be much of a cultural commentator to talk about how sex is seen as an appetite. It doesn't matter really what show you watch, movie you watch, even music you listen to. Pretty consistently with things that don't have a Christian worldview, the sex as an appetite way of thinking is much more prominent. And that is, this is something that everybody does, everybody should do, and you don't need to apologize for whatever it is you want to do. But in the very restraint to the bounds is where the wonder is found. And that is the message of this little quick poem that points to the beauty and the wonder of intimacy when found between two people who have not spread their intimacy widely. Today, will you be committed to that and celebrate that, or are you drawn to the cultural narrative that an appetite is all it needs to be?
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.